Hello everybody, welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel and this is your Championship Transfer Update episode 26, I think. We have tried to cover every single transfer going in and out of the Championship. We are in this second extended window now, the 2 weeks between October the 5th and October the 16th. The rules are very, very fuzzy. All you need to know is that deals can still happen with the Championship. They can happen between the Championship and the Premier League. So in terms of us as Championship fans, not much has really changed because we didn't really expect Championship teams to be going and doing big deals with Premier League teams. Maybe some loans down, etc. But still plenty of action, I'm sure, between now and Friday. I think it's 5 p.m. We're going to go through all of the latest transfers, which do still include a few players coming in, but in the main it is squad trimming going on now. Wage bill trimming, players loaned out, and you will see that is the case across the board really with a lot of the deals out. We do still have a couple of big blue chippers that have got to go, but will they go or won't they? We'll find out. Here's our first in, and we're going to Barnsley for this one. Callum Britton joins the Reds. Well, this seems to make all the sense in the world, doesn't it? On the basis that Killian Ludovic had his loan unceremoniously cut short with some weird quotes coming out of Barnsley, excuse me. Remember, Barnsley are without manager. So whether this deal was already in the works and Gerhard Struber was in on it, whether he's even responsible in the hierarchy there for transfers, it's a very Barnsley signing. I like it. Obviously, Ludovic has gone, like I said. Britton in from Milton Keynes Dons, an England under-20 international, 122 appearances. Seems all very lovely on paper, doesn't it? I'm sure Barnsley fans will be pleased that the deal's been done, but they will want to know who their new manager is and how he's going to work with all of these players. It's very, very important that they get that decision right, but this on paper seems to make a lot of sense and fills a hole. Will the new manager continue with the three at the back and the wing-backs? Because that may well be where Britton is going to end up playing. Get your thoughts in on him in the comments. There's the career numbers there. Impressive stuff for one so young, already racking up those appearances. League One, but let's see how he does in the Championship. Speaking of Barnsley, this is an open letter from Bambo Diaby, cult heroic centre-back, who in a very strange situation has now actually been banned, but seemed to have already been banned and not playing due to an alleged, let's just say, wrong substance or whatever it is these guys take to help them, the vitamins or the supplements. He seems to have breached some protocol. Great sadness. I write this message to the Barnsley fans. Devastated with the news. I cannot return to play football until 2022. This has been a long process, but I had remained upbeat and inspired. They supported me from day one. I'm grateful. Da-de-da-de-da. Ups and downs. Lots of nice stuff. Read the bottom paragraph there. I maintain my innocence, something the FA have acknowledged themselves, but I must handle this decision with my family. Look forward to a brighter future, and you never know what may happen. I will never give in on one day pulling that shirt back on. Thank you all and be safe. I'm assuming he's breached his contract with whatever has happened. I don't know what the state of play is with Barnsley and Diaby, whether he's an asset they can afford to keep paying. I don't know whether there's an insurance can kick in to help with his wages. I don't know how this works in a situation like this. I assume the contract is written in such a way that means when the player has a breach like this, that he's probably left holding the baby. In a lot of situations, we see I suppose it would even be called a termination, basically a sacking. So we'll see what happens with Diaby and Barnsley, and we'll see where he ends up in a couple of years' time, because he is banned. So that's the latest at Barnsley there. This went through yesterday. Patrick Roberts rejoins Borough on loan. Been a bit nomadic so far for Patrick Roberts, and I mean, this plays into a lot of conversations that we've been having at the moment with the big clubs, the big six, and farming players, taking them very, very young, and 25 loans later, do they make it, do they not? Roberts seems to be in that criteria, doesn't he? Sort of pacey, wide forward player. You can see there he's been around for ages and ages. Well, look, even playing in the Premier League and Championship for Fulham. Manchester City then take him, and it's one appearance there, and then the loans start, and out he goes to Celtic and Girona, who are a City feeder club. Norwich, you'd have thought that would have been the chance in the Premier League last season. Didn't work out at all there. Borough, he got some appearances. There should be a goal on there. I'm sure he scored for Borough. Look, this is Wikipedia. I like the way they lay it out, but sometimes the numbers are not too reliable, but they give us a sense of where Roberts has been. So Warnock is known for liking to stock up his attacking options particularly, and known to the club. Easy deal for them to do. Let's see how Patrick Roberts gets on another loan at Borough. But certainly it looks better stocked now than a few weeks ago, with Akpom having come in and joined, and now Patrick Roberts as well. This is Antonis Stegiakis, who looks like he's going to be number 2 goalkeeper at Blackburn Rovers. Only a young guy, 6'5". Wow. I think, yeah, 21 years old, in from Slavia Sofia. I think they have paid a fee, but obviously undisclosed, as seems to be every single transfer fee ever. If you notice, the Blackburn goalkeeper, whose name, Kaminski, escapes me. I think I've got that right. Was on the bench for Belgium the other night against England. So it looks like more options brought in there. A long-term deal for a young player, and probably a backup there. So welcome, Antonis Stegiakis. Now, let's go across to Watford, where some pretty big name players with a lot, and I mean a lot, of Premier League experience have departed this week. It's obviously wage bill cutting. We've talked forever and a day about the cliff edges between the Premier League and the Championship, between the Championship parachute teams and the rest of the Championship, etc., etc. On and on I go. Watford are in this situation where they have highly paid, highly experienced players on their roster. They've waited until deadline day 1 to go. Nothing has been done with a few of these players, and out go 3 of them in different ways. So Danny Welbeck has just been released from his contract, and they were eye-watering sums, if you believe what was written in the press, that he was receiving in salary. So this is clearly a case of, can we get a fee for this guy? No, nobody came in. Can we get him out on loan? No, nobody came in. Let's take the hit. I don't know whether he's been paid off in some way, shape or form. I assume he would have. But this is a guy, look at the history, just Premier League. You can see 8 games at Preston on loan in the Championship. But otherwise, this is very, very much a player that's played his entire career in the Premier League and an international as well. So it'd be interesting to see where he pipes up. Would it be in the Championship? Will he be another one of these Championship white elephant players that ends up going to Turkey because they're the only ones that can afford to take on the contracts and the wages? Premier League, Championship, Europe, who knows? You would think a player of that calibre, of 200 plus Premier League appearances, Manchester United, Arsenal on the CV, wouldn't be short of offers, but we'll see. depends how much he expects to be paid and who's going to stump up the money. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see where Danny Welbeck goes. And will we see him in the Championship? Or has he got another Premier League move and deal left in him? How good's his agent? Craig Dawson is another player who's played a lot of games at the top level. He'd been at West Brom, we'd had him in the Championship, and there was a sense, you know, good Championship operator. In the end, they didn't go up, and Dawson went out to Watford, I think possibly for a decent fee as well, possibly sort of 5 million quid. He's been there a year, basically, 31 appearances, 2 goals. He's gone to West Ham on loan. And West Ham, I think I saw the figures actually. West Ham are just the #1 destination now for Championship players going up to the Premier League. I think they've taken the most from the figures I saw the other day. Obviously linked with Saeed Benrahma, who's a Championship star. Took Jared Bowen, who's a Championship star as well. And, you know, we can name, I don't know, people like Ryan Fredericks, Jordan Hugel. That's where they shop. And you can see there's a lot of evidence that tell us that since the 2011-12 season, Craig Dawson is almost exclusively a Premier League footballer, a loan down to Bolton, and that one season there with West Brom in the Championship. But the evidence tells us he can do you a job at the top level. And up he goes again. The proof is in the pudding. And he's proved it. Proved. That is even a baking term, isn't it, from my watching of the Bake Off. Anyway, Daryl Janmat also out, so we are cutting wages like anything. What's the deal here? Reached agreement with Daniel Janmat to leave on a free transfer. So again, cutting the losses where they can. Don't know what sort of deal they would have done with West Ham, whether they could have got a loan fee there. But Janmat comes in the Welbeck category of, well, if the best deal is to pay him off and get that liability off the balance sheet, then so be it. And that appears to be what they have done here. Plenty of appearances as well and decent calibre. Look at that, right through from 2014. Just those 2 appearances in the Championship, and it's been Premier League all the way. So does anybody take him? Does he go back out to Europe? If I'm a middling Premier League club and I'm looking at Danny Welbeck and Daryl Janmat, are they people I can add on a deal that's prudent? Who knows? Are they still Premier League players? The evidence says yes, but let's see. I mean, only 8 appearances in the Premier League last year, only 26 across the last 2 seasons. So we'll see. Again, though, I'd wonder whether either of these players, particularly Welbeck and Janmat, appears in the Championship, because they're probably going to be able to get paid better elsewhere, either in the Premier League or one of the lower ranking top divisions in Europe. So plenty of movement again out of Watford. They've been great fun on these Championship transfer update videos, haven't they? And another relegated Premier League team moving on, presumably a highly paid, expensive, highly tenured player there. Tim Closer out of Norwich. Yes, I don't understand the rules. I thought you couldn't deal with. Maybe it's just Premier League teams to European teams couldn't deal anymore. But Tim Closer has gone to FC Basel on a season-long loan, and they have the option of making it permanent. Closer, 32 years old, returns to the 20 times Swiss Super League champions. 128 appearances for Norwich there. You can see arriving from Wolfsburg, but in the main, and I guess this is the story for Norwich, and injured a lot Closer, hasn't he? Only 17 Premier League appearances there to pretty much 100 Championship appearances. So that says a lot about where Norwich has been in Closer's time there. 2 seasons in the Premier League, but in the main, he's played Championship football, and I guess this is the last hurrah of the pre-Stuart Webber era, when Norwich fans used to argue with me, we've built our squad for no money, Ben. And to a vast extent, that was true. But I would flag up, who's that guy on the bench there? Didn't he cost about 10 million euros or something? This is the last hold of those players that had arrived for big money prior to Stuart Webber that were on the books. Obviously, he wasn't a bust like some of these Naismith, Van Wolfswinkel, Vilchet, like some of these players were. I think he was very well liked by the Norwich fans and did a far better job there. But it does feel like the last of a relic, a pre-Stuart Webber relic at Norwich. And obviously the transfer dealings have been very much different and very much more successful since then. And we won't mention a certain goal he scored against Ipswich, will he? So out goes Tim Closer, unlikely to be seen again. At Norwich, again, look at the theme. Expensive players who played in the Premier League, who have been relegated. Down they come. Here's another. It's Bruno Martins Indy, who Michael O'Neill seemed to be saying, well, if he's here and we can't get him off the wage bill, I'll use him. He had played for Stoke, but he's gone out. 28-year-old defender to AZ Alkmaar. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying, can these players get paid? Not at... We'd look at the, I don't know, the Spanish, the Premier League, maybe the Italian league, the German league as the top leagues. But they can go and earn good money in Holland, in Turkey, in Russia, in Poland, places like that, Portugal, if they can't get the gig here or at one of those top leagues. So Martins Indy goes out, and again, it will just be cutting that wage bill for Stoke that seems to have been an issue that's now lasted their entirety of the 2 seasons they've been down in the Championship and continues to rumble on. Out goes Bruno Martins Indy. There's the career trajectory from him. We can see arriving whilst they're in the Premier League, being relegated down, presumably on quite a long contract. Wow, Chris Gunter has gone to Charlton, the most capped Wales international ever. I didn't know that. There you go. And just look at the career. I think when I must have put him in when I did my real Championship team of the decade, as in the players that have just hung around and never gone away. But that is a mighty amount of appearances amassed by Chris Gunter there. Even when it looked like he was going to be bombed out. I think, who was the manager? Jose Gomez, that didn't seem to want to play him. But I guess Mark Bowen brought people like him and McCleary back in. And Veljko Paunovic doesn't want him. So out goes Gunter. In fact, they did some business at right back, didn't they? The young Tomas Esteves had come in. So I guess this means he can finally go now. And he goes out to Charlton. So good luck to Chris Gunter. Omar Bogle joins the Addicts. Charlton have completed the signing of proven goal scorer Omar Bogle on a 1-year deal. Yeah, he just couldn't find a home in the Championship. I don't know whether his level is League One. If you look there, League Two. Grimsby, 16, 17. Would that have been under Paul Hurst? 19 goals in 27 games. That's outstanding, isn't it? But look, in the Championship, just hasn't quite done it, has he? Had a go at Wigan, and then Warnock brought him into the fold at Cardiff. Didn't really work out there. Didn't get on in the Premier League at all. Loaned out, indeed, to Peterborough, and Birmingham, 1 goal. So it looks like Bogle will be trying to prove that he's a League One striker, having not really cut it at the Championship level. Good luck to him over there at Charlton. Brentford, I still have it in my head that they're going to bring in a striker, but they haven't. They have sold Ollie Watkins, obviously. They've brought in Ivan Toney. They have Marcus Forss as backup. Halil Dervisoglu has gone out on loan now. So there's only really 2 players. I suppose it's good news for Forss if no one comes in. He's really in the first team picture now this season. I suppose they've got Godos and Kanyos and Mbuemo. Benrahma is still there. Fosu. You guess they want 6 players for those front 3 positions. So that'll be what they're working towards. Dervisoglu not quite there yet. So he goes out on loan to FC Twente. That, by the way, let me just scroll back to that. That doesn't mean we won't see him again. Remember, Marcondes went out on loan last season, came back, and now he's firmly in the first team squad picture, so it could be a good one. And finally, this is Jack Aitchison holding up the Burger King shirt. We knew he was going out on loan. There was this strange wording when Barnsley signed him from Celtic that he would go straight to a League Two team. It's Stevenage, so we'll see how he goes over there. Probably could have put that on the front with the Barnsley stuff, but there you go. That is your Championship transfer update. Please interact with me on YouTube. Really helps boost the numbers for the channels and helps us work the YouTube magic. Hit the like button. Only takes a second. Please comment. Let me know what you think of any of those deals. If you've seen any of the players play, if they affect your club or anything of that nature. Just your opinions, what we want to hear. Hit the subscribe button. We are at 12,584, 83 or something like that last time I checked. So we're doing great. You can join the Fantasy League there, T5QBR0. A video will be up on that tomorrow. I've been a bit slack uploading the videos to podcast. I will promise I will do that. But subscribe to the podcast feed if you aren't in a position to sit and watch. And as I did say, we have 12,500 plus nearly 600 subscribers. That's not quite enough for me to make a living just yet, not even part-time. So we've got some other revenue streams here. Shop at Amazon is amazon.co.uk/shop/the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. You can subscribe on Patreon there. A couple of tiers over there. Patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. $3 tier, $5 tier. And you can sponsor the channel. We're going to be doing our first sort of short-term sponsorship of the entire channel. Excited about that. Deal going to be announced at the end of the week for a couple of weeks. Little deal there with a website. So I'm excited about that. You can be a fan sponsor as well. A few people have taken that option up. Lovely stuff. That was Championship transfer update. Get your thoughts in the comments. And I will see you later today as we wind down the international break and head back towards Championship football starting at the weekend. Thank you for watching. Over and out.